I would be an extremist in terms of what I do for fitness. A runner, I've ran marathons, a lot of circuit classes. I coach my local football team. I've done all that without ever knowing what was going on inside my system. It was scary in the fact that it all could have ended very quickly that day for me. I was in school last August with a colleague and we were just talking about football, and next all of a sudden I just felt the power going out of my left side of my body. I could feel my face had fallen and I knew that my speech wasn't right. The ambulance crew took me down to Craigavon Hospital. I'd had a double stroke and it had affected two parts of my brain, and that I would need to go for further tests to see if they could get to the source of why I'd had this. Given the lifestyle that I have, that I'm a non-smoker, non-drinker, and I like to keep myself reasonably healthy, and they sent me for scans over the preceding days, and it turned out that I had been born with a hole in my heart that I never knew anything about, and I'd carried that around with me throughout my whole life.
It's a life-changing event for many people, and I think particularly with Sean's story and many people like him, they're younger living with stroke, and sometimes the public perception is that it's a condition that happens to older people. So if you're a younger person, you may well cope pretty well with the physical recovery. The impact of that on your emotional health and well-being can be a bit more difficult to come to terms with, because I suppose it makes you start to think about, your plans, your future. Potentially, is this something that could happen again? And, how do you actually cope with that and get your balance and well-being back into track again?
Chest, Heart and Stroke, I have to say, were excellent. They suggested then that I go and maybe do a bit of counselling. One of the first things I discovered was a stroke is like your fingerprint. Every person's is individual and every person's is different. So mentally, it definitely put me in a better place to get back to work and to be able to handle the things that were going to be thrown at me. It was just about being patient then, which is something I'm not very good at, and taking my time and realising where my barriers were. The fatigue was cruel. Without doubt, it was the worst element of the whole process. But I suppose my mindset was that I wanted to get back to where I was. Whilst I know I'll never run a full marathon again, I can do 10k runs, 5k runs, get out walking in the mountain, as long as I look after myself in the training up to it and on the day itself. But I didn't want to let the stroke define me.